If you have bed bugs or know somebody that have bed bugs, you or they do not need to throw away anything. You don't need to throw away your bed. You don't need to throw away your furniture. You don't need to put your carpet up. You don't need to throw your clothes away. You don't need to throw anything away unless you have a massive, massive, massive infestation. So if you're interested in learning about how I got rid of my bed bugs, stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Guys, today this video is going to be about um my bed bug story. It took me a long time to talk about this because I went through something when we had bed bugs. I went through something mentally. They really did something to me. And when you're allergic to something and you get the reaction, everybody is not allergic to everything. My ear is ringing. Everybody's not allergic to everything, but I guess the only way we know that we had them is because I had a reaction to them. And when they I started getting bit, like on the back of my neck, I was trying to figure out what was going on, didn't know what was going on, and I start getting bit more. Sometimes it been like three little line, like a little line. Then it might be a line going this way. And I started looking online to see what this could be. I had heard about bed bugs and things, but I never had them, so never seen them or anything. So I started just looking up bug bites and things, and I was talking to people. Most people, everybody kept saying a spider, and spiders are one of my worstest fears. That's like I'm scared of spiders, okay? I'm kind of getting over it a little bit now, but I'm terrified of spiders. So just the thought of a spider biting me, it drove me crazy. So I started looking up stuff and I came across bed bugs. So what I did was I called, it's two popular bug services. Orkin is one, and it's another one. I can't remember the name of that one. But anyway, Orkin is not the one that I had called. I called the other one because they was doing free estimates. And through the video, I hope I come up with that name because I was so disappointed in that person they sent out. So the guy came out and he had this little LED light, little infrared, I mean not LED light, shine it up at the curtains, shine it like on my bed a little bit or whatever, whatever. He really ain't do nothing. Then he was gone. And he said, "You don't have any bed bugs." So I wasn't convinced. I wasn't convinced because something was biting me. And I went and started doing my own research and my own everything. And I ended up going to the ER. I ended up going to the emergency room because I was just distraught at this time, at this point in time. Because it's like every night I'm getting bit, and I wake up and I'm scratching and I'm itching because the bites are like mosquito bites, but they bigger. They turn into these knots. So it just it kept biting me across my neck. And then I remember one time I looked up at my ceiling and I seen this like little bug. It looked like it was brown, and that's before I got bit. And I just sprayed it and got it and threw it into a killer. It was a very tiny. I didn't even really pay too much attention to it because I sprayed it so much it was kind of deteriorating. So I put it in the toilet, flushed it, and shortly after that is when I started getting bit. And I wasn't too worried about it when I was getting bit in the beginning because I know, you have dust mites that will bite on our dead skin. We don't see them, but they're there. So we had the dust mites. So I said, well, I never had a reaction to a dust mite, so maybe it's a mosquito. But the bump started getting, it was too big. And then I started getting bit like almost every night. I said, no, ain't no mosquito gonna constantly bite you every single night in your room, in your bed. So I started getting scared, didn't want to go to sleep at night. I was up all night, all kinds of stuff. And I'm trying not to make this video too long, but for those who do have bed bugs and need to know how to get rid of them, this might be a little longer video. And trust me, it'll be worth this time that I'm spending talking about it. And like I said, it wasn't easy for me to do it. It's a little easier now because it's been since like 2018. Now it's 21. But I'm going to insert some pictures of the back of my neck and how my neck looked. It's 3 pictures. So I'm going to insert those pictures and let you see kind of what I was going through. Okay, so when I went to the emergency room, they said it's definitely some type of, bug bite, insect bug bite. But they didn't want to pinpoint nothing, so they didn't say, well, it could have been this or it could have been that. They said it's definitely some type of insect or bug bite. So that was like a waste because that I already knew. I needed to know what it was. So I go back home and I'm still getting bitten. I'm still getting bit. So I'm like, you know what? Do I have bed bugs? I said I can't have bed bugs. How many? Where do bed bugs come from? Because I'm about to clear this myth up for people who feel like if you got bed bugs, you got bed bugs because your house dirty or this dirt. Bed bugs don't do dirt. They don't care nothing for dirt. They like blood. That's how they live. That's how they survive. If you got blood in you, they'll be bothered with you. So it don't have nothing to do with your house being dirty. So I started looking up bed bugs and I started trying to figure out if it is, where did they come from. So I started talking to my two sons that live with me, Monte and Mook. So Mook said he did see these little bugs on this bed or something to the effect, and I flicked because when I always tell them, if you see something that's out of the norm, I don't care if it's a bug or whatever, let me know. I need to know because I need to know what's in here. I don't like bugs. I'm scared of bugs. So he looking at me, like, Mom, you blowing this out of proportion. But no, I'm not blowing it out of proportion because number one, y'all getting bit, you getting bit too because they in your room, but you don't feel the bite because you don't have a reaction to it, so you don't know. But I feel the bites. I'm itching all day and I'm scratching and hurting and all of this stuff. So I'm real highly upset. I said, so I need to see, how this bug look. So at that time we didn't know how bed bugs live, how they start the infestation or whatever. So like I said, I started doing research and I started going online researching, started joining these different little Facebook groups. I joined 3 different Facebook groups and there was so much talk about bed bugs and they were showing so many pictures of these infestations that was like making me sick to my stomach, making me like about to vomit because it's like you look at their mattress. um, and I'm trying to figure how could you not know that your mattress like that? Do you ever change your linen? Because even where the bed bugs hide at, you still can see all of those spots when you pull your sheet off. You can see it. And all of the stuff that be on the beds from them is blood. When they suck all of that blood and they go back to the nest or whatever they do in their feces, it's like the blood they sucking in their feces. And bed bugs don't have to mate in order to have offsprings. All they have to do is suck enough of your blood. They go through 5 stages. At that 5th stage, they're mature enough to start laying eggs, and they lay a bunch of eggs at one time. So they not. I forgot what you call it, the type of amphibian they call it that don't have to have a partner. You can have you can reproduce without actually mating, and bedbugs are one of them. So anyway, when he came in there and it was on one was on his pillow, and had a glass. I went to somebody's bridal shower, and I kept a little glass there. And so I went and tried to hold a glass on top of the pillow like this to get it, and end up sliding, and it smashed it, and little blood spot in the pillow. So I threw the glass away. I said, throw the pillow away, throw the pillow away, all of that. So now I know, excuse me, there's some kind of little bug in there, and I'm convinced it's a bed bug, but now I need to see, I need to do a little bit more investigation. So going into these Facebook groups, you see people that have you see people that have these pest control companies. So for them, this is a money maker for them because now you scared, number one, because if you having reactions to getting bit like I did, all you want to do is get rid of them. So they tell you about this expensive thing, that expensive thing, this, that, $5,000 for this, and you paying them, and because you just want to get rid of them, and you don't know anything about them. So me, I'm still skeptical. I just started reading stuff and watching what people were saying and things like that. And I did end up spending some money and buying some stuff. And I never used none of it. I still have everything basically that I bought. And I'm going to tell you how I got rid of them. But anyway, I stayed in the Facebook group for a while. You had some people say that you could never get rid of them. Some people upped and moved, which if you do have them, moving is not going to solve it. They're going to go right with you. They're going to go right with you. So it's no need of moving. Stay there and clear that situation out. Then if you want to move after that, move after that. But don't move and take them things somewhere else so they can destroy somebody else's life. Because they damn near destroyed mine. Believe me when I tell you. It was a real psychological thing I was going through. My kids thought I was losing my mind. I thought I was too. So, I bought what? One, two, three, four, five different things. So I'm gonna put them on the screen. I bought some type of gallon jug, like you use for like a garden. You can put, you can mix anything in it, and it's a gallon. It's got the little sprout thing that you might sprinkle the water out or whatever the solution is. I bought that and I'm going to put it on the screen. That cost me $9.98. Okay, and I bought something called Crossfire. Crossfire is something, the solution that you mix in that gallon jug I was just talking about with, I believe, water, and then you spray like around the corners of your wall, the frames of your bed, down at your box spring, or wherever you need to spray. This spray is supposed, that the Crossfire is supposed to actually kill them within like an hour or two. But you got to make sure you know where they at, where they're hiding, where they're living, and that they're not all through the house. But anyway, I bought the Crossfire and I put a picture of the Crossfire up, and the Crossfire cost me $48.17. Okay, I bought something. I bought a steamer. I bought a clothes steamer because I seen two on a video that if you can get a clothes steamer. You can steam your mattress out and, steam, because one thing about them, heat will kill them too. That's why they say when you feel like you have them, put all your stuff in a bag, take it to the laundromat and dry it on a real, real high temperature. So that'll kill it. So the steamer, and I'll put the picture of the steamer up. That steamer cost me $74.99. Um, excuse me, I was reading about something called Diatomaceous earth, and then I was something called Cemexa. They were saying Cemexa worked better. So I had them both. So I bought the Cemexa, and I had, of course, include the picture. And the Cemexa cost me $13.99. And I bought a 5-pound bag of Diatomaceous earth, food grade, that had cost me $16.99. Now, mind you, these prices were back in 2018, so this stuff could be higher now. But these are the things that I purchased back then. The only thing I ever used out of all the stuff I purchased was the Diatomaceous earth. I have everything that I purchased. I just didn't get it to show up because they're in boxes. Everything's still in the same thing because I never used it. But I didn't know that at the time because I'm in all these different Facebook groups and all these people saying all this other stuff. So I started watching YouTube videos. Come to find out that the Diatomaceous earth was all I needed. It was all I needed. So once I found out about that, I went like crazy in my apartment. I started at the source. The source started in my son's milk room. Either he bought them in from somewhere or one of his friends bought them in from somewhere. That's where they started at. That's where they originated at. That's where the majority of them were at. And it's not like he had a whole mass of them because he didn't. It's not like I had a whole mass of them in my room because I didn't. Or my other son. But they ended up through the whole apartment. Why? Because my son, he was through the whole apartment. He used to come in my room and just lay across my bed. That's how they got in my bed. because they would be on him. One thing they call them, they call bed bugs hitchhikers, because they will get on you and stick to you, and then when you go somewhere, come off, and then they where you they there, and you don't know where they come from. Once you get them and you learn you have them, then you start blaming this person, you start blaming that person, because you don't know where they come from, when you could have actually brought them into your own home yourself from somewhere else. So once I realized that we had them, I told them, don't bring nobody in here. No company, no nobody. I said, and be careful when you're leaving out the door. You know, you don't want to take this problem to somebody else. And when we get rid of it, we don't want it again. I don't ever want to see this again. So I started, when I talked to my oldest son, he said he saw something on the wall or something to that effect, and he just killed it because we don't know what we didn't know what bed bugs was. So, but he said he saw two bugs on his pants leg, and they was just sitting on it. And I said that's more than likely what they were. I said, and I got on him too. I said I keep telling y'all, when y'all see stuff that's unusual, something that you have never seen before, you don't have no idea, let me know. I need to come and fucking research it. I need to see what's going on in here. You know, they leave out the house a lot. Most of the time I'm home. I don't need all of this foreign stuff around me. But anyway, started with Mook Room. And from what these people were saying on these videos, oh, you gotta take everything out the closet, you gotta wash all the stuff in the closet, you gotta do, man, I was so emotional. I just sat and cried and cried and cried and cried. I was like, I cannot take everything out of these closets and wash this and do this and do that. I said, there's got to be a way to do this. So they were saying, don't breathe in the diatomaceous earth, you know, because it can kind of mess with your lungs and stuff. Even though you can actually ingest it, you can drink it. And, you know, I started drinking it, and it did wonders for my skin. I actually started drinking it again. I drink the diatomaceous again right now today. I just started back about a few days ago. And as I do videos, you guys will see how my skin started changing. Um, Also, it's good for your hair, skin, nails, and it's good for animals that may have fleas, ticks, and this and that, because bugs like ticks, fleas, bed bugs, and things like that, they have something called an exoskeleton, where the powder of the diatomaceous earth to them is deadly. Once it gets on them, it cuts through their little bodies like glass, and it dries them out. So that's how it cuts them up and dry them out on the inside. So that's how it kills them. But for us, it doesn't hurt us if we put it in liquid like water, our smoothies, or whatever. It actually does good things to our bodies. So a lot of people put them on their pets and things like that for ticks, fleas, and all that. And they feed it to them too. And but you have to get the food grade. You can't get the chemical grade anyway. I think you have to be licensed to get that chemical grade for some other stuff. But anyway, you can look up Diatomaceous Earth if you would like. You'll see the name on the bag because I've already put the picture up. I'm showing what Diatomaceous Earth is. So I bought these face masks, and the masks that we're wearing now, I bought them back in 2018. I bought the ones that the blue medical ones everybody wear. I bought a pack of 100 of those because we were in a house, and I put them on my face so I can put the diatomaceous earth now, because it's powdery. It's like a powder, so of course it's gonna be all through the house. I mean, all through the air. And they said don't just breathe it in. So I started back there, my son Mook Room. And when I tell you I lined up everything. I lined up everything. We moved everything in the room, put it around every corner of the wall, around the whole wall. We, I like lined the closet on the outside to make sure nothing didn't get across that lining to the closet to get in no clothes or nothing. I was like praying nothing did it at first. And, I even took the sockets off the wall and put some in the sockets because they said that they could come through the wall too, through the sockets. So in the beginning, I didn't know if the bed bugs came through from somebody else's unit. I still don't know right now today because other people in the building had bed bugs, but they just didn't tell us. So it's a possibility they could have came through the wall unit, but I just took it that either my youngest son brought him in or one of his friends because that was in his room. And I finally got to see him because that day I was just so frustrated and I had did so much research. All I was doing was waiting for the diatomaceous earth to come. So once the diatomaceous earth came, people call it, people say diatomaceous earth so many different names, diatomamia, and anyway, I said, it's time to look at your bed. I said, I got the stuff. I said, I need to look at your bed because first I need to see if any on your bed. I said, number two, I need you to see if you can catch one for me because I need to do an experiment. So I took like a jar, you know, the little jars you get, maybe a garlic powder or seasoned salt or something like that. May cost $1 in the stores. I just got one of those jars and put some diatomaceous earth in it. And then he had caught well, I ain't put no diatomaceous at that time. I let him. He caught when he caught the little bug inside the jar and he brought it to me. I put a little bit of diatomaceous earth in there, and I just set it. And I looked at it every day, a few different times a day to see, you know, if it was gonna kill this bug. So it did. It did. It was this one day. It was just on his back. It dried it out. It didn't take long, but I could tell that it was kind of getting sick. Because at first it was running real fast. Then it was just moving real slow, and that let me know that those whatever is in this powder was cutting through them and drying them out. So I said, okay, now I know this worked. So when I went to look at his mattress, it was like three in the corner of his bed. They didn't run or anything. So that also let me know that the diatomaceous earth was working because I hadn't put no diatomaceous earth on his bed at that time. I had only lined the floor and put it in the, well, I hadn't even put it in the light sockets yet. I had just only lined up the floor. And in order for them to get to the bed, they in the floor and they'll crawl up. So they had to go through the diatomaceous earth to get to the bed. So I said, okay, these are sick. They not running. They not moving. So another way to kill them instantly is alcohol. So I had bought so much alcohol, and I bought the highest I could find, which was like 90%. Because I keep alcohol, but you know we normally get the lighter strength alcohol. But I had bought some alcohol, 90%, 70%, or whatever. So I put it in a spray bottle and just sprayed them. And sure enough, it killed them instantly. So now we know that high heat, and alcohol kills them instantly. Okay, diatomaceous earth, it kills them, but it's a process. So once I did Mukroom, I said we seen them on the bed, so I got the diatomaceous. I got the little thing that come with it. It's like a little pump. I put it up in the box spring. I put it around the frame of his bed on the inside. I put it around the frame of his bed on the floor. I put it on the mattress, between the box spring and the mattress, and I put it in the corners all the way around of his mattress. And Mook had started going out there in the living room and lay down. So they ended up in the living room. They ended up in Monte's room. They ended up in my room. They were just all through the house. So once I did Mook's room, coming out his room, I went across his door to seal his room, went across the corners of the wall in the hallway. When I tell you I put it down every crack and crevice in my house, in my apartment, that's what I did. I just started from Mook room, coming out of Mook room, going down the walls on both sides. Went in Monte room, did the same exact thing. From Monte room, went into my room and did the same exact thing. From my room, I went into the living room, dining room, the kitchen. I didn't have to put anything in there. Wasn't any carpet in the kitchen. And one thing about bed bugs are not interested in run across your floor or anything because believe it or not, we have so many different type of bugs in our carpet that we just never see. Bed bugs are so small and they're very easy prey for other bugs. So they're not trying to be in the carpet. They're trying to be as close to you as they possibly can. Like I said, they need you to live. And that's why they are called bed bugs, because that's where they try to be, in your bed, where you are. They need you to survive. They need your blood. They need our blood to survive. So I had went out in the living room and I had sat on the couch, and when I tell you I was only sitting on the couch for like a second, I got bit twice by the same bug, and I felt the bite. Sometimes I used to feel them bite, because one time I was sitting on my bed, and I was writing down some notes, and I felt something bite me on my leg, and my reaction was so fast. I caught that one running, and took the book and did it like that. To open it, sure enough, I smashed in the middle of the book, and the little bit of blood of mine that he sucked, was smashed between the paper. So I threw that away, and I got rid of them really quick out of my room. Really quick. They were just like gone because it really wasn't none in there. It didn't take no time to get it out of Monte room. Like Mook room was the place. Anyway, okay. Let me go back to the couch in the living room. I got bit 2 times in a row. I guess I disturbed it because normally they bite in three times or more in one feeding. They'll bite you a few times and it'll be like a straight little line. So when I put my hand back there, sure enough, right over top of, excuse my language, but behind on your backside at the very top of your behind where that line is, right there, two big. When I say big ass knots, I mean big ass knots. I'm mad as I don't know what at this time. I jump up, kept a flashlight with me. I jump up, start looking over my couch, find my flashlight, and sure enough, I seen that little thing run across, killed it. So I said, okay, now I gotta get the couch. Now I need to look at the furniture. So I wasn't planning on doing the furniture because I didn't know that they were out there until I sat on the couch and got bit. But I do remember Mook laying in my little swivel chair, and I remember him laying on the couch. And then I got mad at him because I told him, if you're going to lay out here, leave everything in your room. Don't bring your cover out here. If you're going to lay out here, change your clothes before you lay out here. Put your clothes on your bed and leave them there. When you take your clothes off, put them in this bag and tie this bag up. Because I don't want these things to keep being all over the daggone place. And he wasn't following the rule. So that they ended up out there too. So I piled everything down. I took all, I got my friend to help me flip over my sofa. And I put Diatomaceous earth all up in the bottom of the furniture. I even cut some of the bottom part off where they had a little film under the bottom, like a black film or whatever color your furniture is. And it's just a covering at the bottom so you don't see up in the wood. But I cut it some so I could just spray all up in there, which I did. I took all the cushions off my furniture, sprayed all up in there, and I did the same thing to my swivel chair. And then when I heard about they can come through the light sockets and this and that, that's when I took all the sockets off and I sprayed Diatomaceous all up in the socket. I sprayed all up in the bottom of my deep freezer, along the wall. I mean, when I tell you my whole house was powdered out, you couldn't see it, but it was. So after, I'll say like a week after all of that, I would go in Mook room and you start seeing them on the wall. And they never come out. They never come out like that where you can just see them and they just sit there. They never do that. So I said, this is working. Because now they're coming up on the wall because they're trying to get away from the Diatomaceous earth. Mind you, I have that stuff everywhere. I got it in the bed, I have it on the mattress, I have it on the box spring, I have it, up inside of the box spring, I have it around the frame of the bed, I have around the 4 little post on the bed where the wheels are or whatever you got. I got it circled around there. I mean, I got, when I say I got every little nook and cranny, I did. So it wasn't nowhere for them to be without getting into the Diatomaceous earth. Plus, they didn't want to be in the carpet, like I said, because they didn't want to get eaten by whatever else is flying around this carpet. I mean, floating around the carpet. They couldn't be in the bed anymore because the bed has Diatomaceous in it now. And what they do, they don't be in the middle of the bed. Their places are the corners of your bed. They try to hide up in the little corners of the bed, up in the cracks where you can't see them. Oh, my stomach growling. I hope you guys ain't hear that. And my audio should be on the way. But anyway, they started coming up on the wall and just sitting on his wall in his room. After a while, he didn't even pay them attention no more. He'd been there playing his game. And I go in his room and I said, you see it? He said, yeah. I said, why the hell you ain't kill it? He said, it can't do nothing anyway. It's going to die anyway. He said, you killing all of it. You killing everything in here. And it's just sitting on the wall. Then I look and I'm about to go out the room, but there was another one behind the door. They just sitting on the wall. They can't even run no more because now they're dying from this diatomaceous earth. So I was so happy about that. So now I'm like, how am I gonna know when they're actually gone? And mind you, this finally is a time I was not getting bit anymore. So I knew that it was working too because I wasn't getting bit anymore. Mind you, I had got bit every night for over 2 weeks, every single night. And I mean, when I say bit, I mean like three and four, 5 bites at a time. So and to the point where I thought they was just night owls. I was scared to go to sleep. Nope, they don't care what time of day it is. They gonna if they can feed, they gonna feed. So, like I said, when I wasn't getting bitten anymore, I already knew it was working. But then once I went in Mook room, and his room was the only one, but I think I seen maybe one that I might have seen in Monte room on the wall or somewhere, but I know Mook room, you going, it ain't like it was a whole bunch everywhere because it wasn't. We did not have an infestation, put it that way, a huge, nasty looking infestation like some that I've seen. And I'm actually insert a picture of one or two of the infestations that I've seen if I can get the picture. So you'll see it pop up any second if I can get the picture from somewhere. If not, then you can go do your research because if you got bed bugs, there's plenty of information out there. I just wanted to bring this to whoever may need it to let you know that diatomaceous does work. It will get rid of your bed bugs. You do not have to spend tons of money. You do not have to go buy that stuff I bought and pay all that money for it. It will work all by itself, but you have to do the work and put that stuff down and put it down everywhere. And another plus, diatomaceous earth don't only work for bed bugs. It works for all of these spiders, everything. When I tell you I got rid of everything in my apartment, wasn't nothing crawling around in that apartment. It even got rid of the mice because that place was infested with mice. They didn't tell me that when I moved in there. But we used to see little mice running and put down the traps. The little mice were so smart. They will probably look at the trap, walk right around it. They end up taking whatever on the trap, and then you go back, stuff gone, but they ain't there. So my friend at the time, he would he plugged up all the holes that he could find with like steel wool and stuff like that. So what they couldn't run through these get into these holes anymore, but they were still in the apartment. They was in that little boiler room in the apartment where the air conditioning unit and stuff was. Man, we put a knife in that little thing, open that door. I put Dr. Make sure it's all up in there too. But yeah, everything was gone. I never had a bad problem with roaches there. I remember moving in, I didn't see any, and then out of nowhere they started. It was this little cracks in the wall in the kitchen on top of the sink, and I was in there just doing the dishes one day and seen two of them come out of it. I said, so this is where they're coming from, and it wasn't a lot. But like I said, once I put the Diatomaceous earth down, everything disappeared. Roaches, everything, wasn't nothing. And like I said, I never had a bad problem with the roaches there ever. Mice was running around. And when the bed bugs came, I mean, spiders, you get spiders and things like that. But I used to when we put the glue traps down for the mice, that's what we used to get on it. We used to get a bunch of spiders and stuff like that on the glue traps. Once I had the diatomaceous earth down for 2 weeks, I said we're gonna put some glue traps down because I need to see what's still running through here. Now that this time I feel like I'm a professional now, and I feel like I can get rid of anything now. You hear me? Put that thing down with nothing getting on it. So the diatomaceous earth then wiped the hair, had wiped out everything. I swear by it. I still use it right now today. And if you guys have any problems with like bed bugs or any type of bug with an exoskeleton, you need to get diatomaceous earth. If your pets have fleas and all that kind of stuff, you need to put some diatomaceous earth on their collar, on their body. Put it on their body as a powder so they can get rid of these ticks and fleas and all that stuff. And you can put some in like their food or something like that, just a little bit, mix it in water, whatever. But because another thing I can say is real chalky and it's real thick. So when you ingest in diatomaceous earth, you have to drink a lot of water. A lot of water. Okay, guys, so I think I've touched on everything that I wanted to about bed bugs. And I'm still trying to think of the name of that other service. It's Orkin and it's the other one. It was only two. I still can't think of the name of it. You guys might know what I'm talking about, but anyway, you don't even need Orkin. You don't need none of those services. All you need is Diatomaceous earth. Don't waste your money. Trust me. I know that those things are like one of you could be your worstest nightmare because they were for me, but you don't have to spend a whole lot of money to get rid of them. All it takes is a little time, a little patience, and you got to do what you have to do, and you will get rid of them. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below and I will answer your question to the best of my ability. Like I said, I feel like I'm a professional now. And oh, the other thing is, I did call my rental office because some rental office were charging people that had bed bugs. And they would, put it in their rent. Their rent would be a little higher each month until the bill was paid for. And you're talking about $5,000 or more. So I was scared to call my rental office about it because I thought this is what going to happen to me. So I took everything in my own hand. But then when I got to the point where I'm like, I need to know if they really gone, and I just want a professional to come and check. So I called, and they sent a guy out, and he when he came out, he saw one in the room under his bed, and this guy, I tell you, you could tell he been dealing with bed bugs for a long time. He pick up the mattress and he take the thing with his finger and just slide across like that and smash it on his hand. I'm looking at him. I said, okay. I said, well, you the person I need to be. I need you here. It was only one in Mook room. One. When he went in my room, it was none. When he went in Monte's room, it was none. I told him what I went through. I told him how they used to be on Mook Wall and all that stuff. And when he went in the living room, he flipped over my swivel chair. It was one under the swivel chair. When he flipped over the furniture, he seen like 4 or 5, but they were all dead. They were dead from the Diatomaceous earth. So what he did, he sprayed anyway. He sprayed the stuff that I had of right now, the crossfire. He sprayed the crossfire under the box springs, all around the bed and stuff like that, in the front of the furniture. He said, whatever is left, he said, since you didn't did such a great cleanup job, whatever is left, this should take whatever is left out, and this should be it. He said, I'll be back. He said he was going out of town because it was around the Christmas holidays, 2013, December 2013. So he said he was going away for like a week or so, and he would come back after that week when he came to see if he see any traces of any living, bed bugs. So when he came back, nothing. Nothing in the milk room, nothing in the living room, nothing in nothing. He said, what did you do? What did you use? And I talking about Diatomaceous earth. I started naming everything I had. He said, you need to get into the exterminating business. I said, no. I said, I'm just the type of person that when something is going on in my life, my household, threatening me, my children, or whatever, I'm going to find a solution. I said, health-wise, too. I said, that's just how I am. I said, and I did spend a lot of money because at first I didn't know what to do, and I just wanted them out. I said, but now, yeah, he said, well, you really didn't need me. I said, I needed you so I could know that they're actually gone. I said, but I knew they were basically gone because I wasn't getting bit anymore, and then I started sitting on my son's wall. But anyway, long story short, I got those bugs out of my house. I got the little bit of mice that was in there, or whatever else, spiders or crawling. I got them all out, and it was Diatomaceous earth, guys. So if you're having to watch this video and you have bed bugs, I hope that you got something from this, and I hope you tried this instead of calling somebody to come to your house to charge you an arm and a leg. Trust me, I know the bed bugs. No, nobody wants those. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I ask that you like, subscribe, comment, and share, and click the bell and click all, and that'll notify you every time I upload a video. So this is the V, which is me, and I'm signing out. I'll see you guys again on the next one, and thanks again for watching. Oh yeah, comment below if you have any questions. Any questions. See you next time.